All right. Crafted Church Growth.
Episode 4. We are here.
Episode 4 already. Wow.
Yep.
You know what I love about doing it this way, B, is for those of you that are watching, is you could always go back. You could always go back to the starting of our podcast, and we have 4 episodes out there. And you could go ahead and just episode binge. Mm-hmm. You ever done that?
Yep. I've done that.
What did you watch that you binged? What series or what were you watching?
The Office.
The Office.
Yep. Recently, The Office.
I just binged on Griselda.
Nice.
Yeah, I just like in like 1.5 days of I was off. 1.5 days, I just totally binged and watched all of them. We binge. So I think this is a good thing to go and just start from the beginning, watch all the episodes.
Yep.
They're super fun. They're super informative, and you won't regret it, man. So God is doing some good things, and we're getting ready to do a launch into Green Valley.
Yes.
VOGV, Green Valley Victory Outreach.
Yep.
And we're excited for that. And we just keep expanding and we keep expanding. This Sunday, my God, it was just a great service. And I almost feel like we might have to do 3 services if we don't find a new building and get out of there.
Lord, give us a building, 1,000-seater. You could tell God is moving in your church when the altars are flooded. Like, that means there's a hunger for God, His presence. Both services, Pastor, they were like literally flooded with families. And even new people are going to the front and just receiving what God has for them. And I think if the altars are flooded, then that means something good is happening in your church.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because I think it goes along the lines of not just having a packed church, but having a healthy church. So I think the response to the worship, the way people are responding to the word as it's being spoken, and then also the altar calls. Man, you're right. God has just been moving. Everybody comes to the altar, and you just see people crying. They're broken. God is touching them. Yeah. The word is being sealed in their heart. So there's evidence of not just a growing church, but a church that is definitely spiritually healthy. So I'm excited for that. And man, we got our new topic for today, and I'm excited about this one because if you come to our church or you ever heard any of my preaching, I talk about this a lot. I talk about being attractive. Being attractive. Look at this guy.
You
don't want to be like him. No, I'm playing. Look at this guy. He's attractive, man. He's an attractive guy. I'm playing. I'm just having fun. But being attractive, being a church that is attractive is super important. You know, I don't know if you guys ever heard this before, but it's been said like people will drive across town to have a good meal.
Yep.
You know, I live on the east side of Las Vegas. I'll drive to the west side in traffic with all the road work, with all the cones, with everything that is happening on the streets. I will drive across town to have a good steak, to have some good Italian food. You know, I'll do whatever I need to do to get across town to have a good meal. And I think that's super important when it comes to having an attractive church, or even having the expectancy that your church is going to grow. You have to ask yourself, will people drive across town? Will people drive across town to come to your church service?
I like that.
Is it that attractive where people are going to drive, like us, we're on the east side? Are people going to drive from Henderson? Are people going to drive from North Las Vegas? We have a lady that drives in from Boulder City, and it's distance from where we're at, but she drives in from Boulder City. I think she's determined in her heart that, hey, it's worth driving across town to go to a church that's attractive, and I know that I'm going to get something that is going to totally help me grow in my spiritual walk, you know?
That's true, Pastor. I think one of the elements of us as a church being attractive is that in a sense, it's unpredictable. Like, you don't know what's going to happen in any service.
Well, the spontaneity.
Yeah, it's like you can't predict. Oh yeah, this is what's going to happen next week. No, like you can come on a Sunday morning and there's a whole Islander concert, or not, was it dance we did for United We Can Day, right? It was a presentation representing all the churches we have. So yeah, you don't know what's going to happen every Sunday, but you know something good is going to happen. So that's like, I got to go there, right?
Yeah, because we talked about that, I believe, in one of our episodes, having that wow factor.
Yeah.
And that's you need that if you're going to grow a church, if you're going to have a church that's worth driving across town. There's got to be an attractiveness to it. I always say this: people are not attracted to what is ugly. People are attracted to what is attractive. So I think that's what we're shooting for when it comes to building our church. You know, the first thing I want to talk about, I want to just break it down to practical things. You know, the first thing is the promotional part. The promotional part of just getting people to your church. You know, having them there, we'll talk about that in a minute. That's another challenge or another work in itself. But the social media, the promotion part of your church is super important, because that's what's getting people to get to the church in the first place. We have a lot of people in our church that I've talked to, and I ask them, you know, how did you hear about us? How did you get here? And they'll say, man, we looked, we went on the internet and we looked up what is the best church in Las Vegas, and your church popped up.
Yeah.
Or they were looking for churches on the east side, and boom, there we were. We popped up. And so their initial introduction to our church was through social media and through promotion like that. Yeah. Social media promotion, whether it was going on our website, whether it was going to our Facebook, whether it was going to our Instagram, whether it was checking out our TikTok, whatever it was, that was their first introduction to our church. And not only that, but even going live.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really honest. I think there's going live in your church. I see a lot of churches, they go live on Facebook or on Instagram, and there's a lot of churches that should be live. I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of churches that should be live, and then there's some churches that I think you got to work on your live production. On Facebook, a lot of people on Facebook, they go live, they just kind of sit a phone right there, and it's showing the pastor, and it's not really quality.
Yeah.
Now I get it. I get that principle of working with what you have. I understand that. Well, this is what I have to work with, so I'm going to work it. I understand that. The only danger that comes with that is that if what you're working with is very low, it could actually stop the growth of your church. You know, I have Johnny on the camera right now, and he does media for a living, and he's shaking his head because it's true. You know, we're trying to work with what we got, but sometimes it's not attractive. It's not a good image of the church. So my suggestion would be, purchase a camera. You know, purchase some media instruments that you need so that you can have a better promotion of your church services. Because there's a lot of churches that are on there that if I was watching it, I don't think I would go. Because the level it's not attractive, and so pastors sometimes we're doing that, and because we want to be like everybody else, right?
Right.
We want to be like every other church. We want to be like some of the premier churches in the outreach that are very strong in social media, and we want to be like them, and that's a good thing. But we also have to look at ourselves and say, man, we're not really there yet. Yeah. So what are some things that we need to do so that we could get there? And I mentioned one of them. Start off with buying some great cameras. Mm-hmm. Get some finances together, get some money together, purchase some cameras. What that's going to do, it's going to cause you to have somebody trained that knows how to work that, even if you have to hire somebody. Yeah. Because I'm telling you, what we put out there on social media can either get us to grow, can get us to shrink or get people to not even come.
That's so true, Pastor. I think we live in a day and age where social media is the first impression that they have of your church. So if I'm a new person, I'm like, oh, I heard about this church. I'm going to check it out. And the first thing I see, whatever I see on that phone or on that computer, that's my first impression of the church.
It's true.
And the purpose of the media team overall is to display the culture of your church. So
I like that.
Whatever we put out there, it should be almost like a spitting image of what's happening inside. And of course, a photo doesn't really tell a lot, but if we really brand our social media properly for our church, it can draw people in. And also, our pastor said this a long time ago. He said 3 I's when it comes to media. Think about image, importance, and impact. The image, is it quality? Don't just let our Instagram or our Facebook be a church bulletin and it's just flyers.
Yeah, just a lot of flyers on there.
No, people want to see faces. They want to see eyes. They want to see, moms and dads. They want to see humans. And we relate when we see a face. So when we have faces on social media, it says, oh, I can relate to that person. He looks like me. She looks like me. And, the image, the importance, the important things that are taking place. We're doing water baptisms. Highlight that. People come to church just because there's baptisms. So even that, and then impact. The impact, maybe there's someone at the altar and they're crying before the Lord and they're worshiping. Take a picture of that and show, look, man, God is really changing lives here in our church. So image, importance, and impact.
Super, super important. That's such a great topic. What are some practical ways? I mentioned one, Brian, about buying certain stuff that you need, cameras and things like that. But what do you think are some other good promotional ways? I was thinking of one right now when you were talking, and that was, I remember when we started to really work on our Instagram page, and we took it from just being a bulletin. Instead of Instagram, it was Bulletingram.
Yeah.
It was all our flyers on there, church events, and upcoming things that were coming, or things that we had done in the past. And then I remember when we started to really work on that, we were very intentional, man. We were very intentional. Again, I have Johnny right here on the camera, and Johnny was a big, big part of that. So was Brian and our social media team. But I remember we went into like a season of taking pictures of people, of actual people. And we even called those people and we told them, hey, on Sunday, you're going to be a part of the upgrade of our Instagram. And we gave people colors to wear. Yeah, that's how detailed we were. Like, we want everybody in these colors. And so what it did is it uniformed everybody, and it made our Instagram look very, very attractive. And you could go to our Instagram now and check it out, Victory Outreach East Las Vegas. And I'll tell you what, our Instagram page is fire, man. Yeah, it's fire. And all of our reels, we do a lot of reels, and their quality and their fire. We do our recap videos of after our service. And those things are they're very quality, they're fire. So all these things I'm shooting out to you, these are ideas on how to help you with your social media promotion. Recap videos, reels. What's that one that the young people do when they go around, they ask people?
Oh, like questions like...
Oh, is it shout out Sundays?
Yeah, Sunday shout out.
A Sunday shout out. So a young person goes around and they start interviewing people. We call them Sunday shout outs. And people are talking about their experience at church, what they got from church. That goes onto our social media. So I like what Brian said. When you put actual people on your social media, on your gram, it keeps your social media promotion of your church very, very attractive.
Yeah, Pastor. I think, if you're on a more smaller level, like smaller scale of people, and you don't have a lot, right? Zero in on one area.
Hire somebody. No, I'm playing.
Yeah, hire someone if you really can. Honestly,
hire people to be on the Instagram.
Yeah,
no, I'm playing.
Hey, be on our Instagram. Hire someone. Yeah, but also utilize one area that works. Don't try to do too much. Maybe it's like, we want to be here. Where is the fruit coming from? We get a lot of action on Facebook. Okay, zero in on Facebook for about a good month, 2 months. Make it look good. Engage with people. And so enhance what is already getting a buzz getting work, you know. So that's one way to really get the social media presence going. And I would say take the humble route, honestly, and ask other people about your page, like strangers. Go out and say, hey, what's up? This is our church page. What do you think about it? And they don't know church, so they're gonna be like, yeah, I don't know about that. Like, oh Jesus, but that's what people see. So, you know,
yeah, they're either gonna look at it and say, yeah, it's church. You could tell it's very churchy.
Or they're gonna say, oh, that's cool. It's not that bad.
Yeah,
you know?
or it's gonna appeal to them. Yeah, for sure. It's gonna either be churchy,
Yep.
or it's gonna be appealing. I like that. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, just getting insight from people. What do you think about our page? And you know, I don't know why this bugs me, but when older people, right, they say, that's not me though. I'm not. You know, that's new stuff. I don't know how to use the phone. Like, okay, why? Use it, you know. But our pastor's very savvy with social media. He's good at it. Like, he's on live, he's active. It's not hard to do social media.
It's not hard.
It's simple, you know. And if that's the mindset, then that's as far as you'll be able to reach in that area. So
that's really good stuff,
that's
man.
a big deal.
So yeah, those are just some basic things I believe that can help you in the promotion of your church when it comes to social media.
Not to cut you off. Sorry.
Wait, let me say this because I don't want to forget either. I remember all of our events that we would do. Like, say we were doing an event at our church, right? It used to be flyers. We did flyers for all of our events. And I know a lot of us do that. I think it's good to do that. I'm not saying it's not good to do flyers, because I think the flyers do more for the church than it does for the community. Because what it does is it brings the church together, right? They come together, they pray, they have coffee, they fellowship a little bit, and then they all go out in teams, and you have team leaders, and they all go out in teams, and they saturate a certain area that they're concentrating on with flyers. And so it gets the church together, and it keeps the people physically close to the need.
Yeah.
So church flyers are great when it comes to promotional of your church. But something I've learned is this, man, and I thank God for a lot of the millennials, a lot of these young people that are around me, and a lot of our promotional stuff for our events, we use social media. You know, we'll make a video, we'll make a flyer, and we'll pay for a commercial.
That's what I was gonna say.
We'll pay for different spots on social media that it's just one click of the button.
Yep.
One click of the button, and all of a sudden, thousands of people are getting that video or that flyer on their phone. And people always have their phone. People are always looking in their phone. Yeah. And now all of a sudden, because of one click of the button, thousands of people are getting that flyer or that video on their phone. And so it's probably good to do both. You know, I think there's certain events where you want to do both. You want to do the flyers and you want to do the social media promotion. But this is for pastors that are watching that you haven't got into the area of promoting your church, again, through social media, or even promoting an event that you're having through social media. I tell you what, man, it's like it'll increase your numbers of people coming to your event, and it really puts you on a different level when it comes to your church. You know, okay, so we're talking about things that bring people to church. I want to talk a little bit about what keeps people in your church. So we talked about being attractive. The core ministries in your church, the strong ministries that are in your church, those are the ministries that you really have to concentrate on and make sure that those ministries are staying attractive. I do this all the time, and I want to challenge those of you that are watching to do this. If you came to the church for the first time, if you are a newcomer right now in your church, would you come back? And what is it that would make you come back? That's how I look at our church. I say, if I was new this Sunday, what did I like about the church, and what would make me come back to this church? So that's all the way from the people in the parking lot to the girls or the teams that you have there greeting people. That's to the ushers who are there handing the buckets. It's to your people that are working in your children's ministry, the people that are working in your cafe. All those areas require being attractive. It requires being attractive in those core ministries of your church. That is what's going to keep people coming back.
I think that's a good insight, because you have to know what is bringing success.
I like that. What is bringing success?
Where do we get a lot of our wins from? Where do we get a lot of our energy from? Where do we get a lot of our life from? And because sometimes as a leader, we can focus on what's wrong. Oh, we got to fix this. Okay, what's the next thing we can fix? But also zero in on what's right. Like, what is making us win right now? What's making us attractive? I can, off the top, our worship is great. The messages are great. The atmosphere, just the people in the atmosphere in our church.
Yeah, nobody wants to leave.
Yeah, they're lingering. And we even have to tell, like, the campus team or the guys, hey, don't tear down yet. Don't turn lights off yet. Let people hang out. Because that's organic growth. And those things keep our church attractive, like genuine relationships.
Yeah, and that's also a sign of a healthy church.
Yeah.
When people do not want to leave.
Yep.
I'm not talking about the faithful core hanging out, because the faithful core is always going to hang out. But once that core starts to grow, and that's how it was last Sunday, man, people were just hanging out in the sanctuary. People were hanging out in the hallways. People were hanging out in our cafe. It was just, total health in the church.
Just lingering.
Yeah, because it's attractive. So those core ministries, they have to be attractive. Another thing, once people are in the church, is you want to have a diversity of leadership. A diversity of leadership. Not just in styles, but also in ethnicity. Did I say that right? Can you say it?
Ethnicity.
Ethnicity. There you go. Ethnicity. You want to have a not just styles, but also
ethnicity.
Yes.
Yep.
You got to mix it up, man. It can't just be. Victory Outreach is not a Mexican church.
No.
Victory Outreach is not a Chicano church. It is a multicultural church.
Yeah.
We are not a local movement church. We are a global movement. I'm going to say that again. We are not a Mexican church. We are a church of diversity. We are a church of different ethnic groups of people.
Yep.
And we're not a local church, a local movement. We're a global movement. So that global movement, this is going to be really good, man. That global movement that you and I are a part of, it has to show up in your church leadership.
That's good.
It has to. It has to show up in your church leadership. I tell you what, when you do that, man, then your church is just, it looks like heaven. You got people from every type of background, every color in your church there worshiping God. We've always had a heart for the Polynesian community. And right now, man, there's a revival. There's a revival in our church. Well, a lot of Polynesians are coming in and they're fitting right in. But we also have Polynesians who are on our worship team.
Yeah.
We have Polynesians who are involved in our Bible studies, our V groups. We're actually getting ready to launch out a couple who, they're Samoan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a Samoan couple that we're getting ready to launch out to do their own Bible study, their own V group. And I tell you what, when you add that mixture in there, it really makes you not only a diverse church, but an attractive church where anybody that walks in says, I see somebody else here that looks like me, and I really feel that I'll fit in here.
Yeah.
That's super attractive.
I think too, Pastor, like you said it too, you can't have too many rules over people. Like, you got to be this, you got to be that, you got to have this, you know, in order to be on the team. Like, you got to, of course, we have principles and values, but there has to be flexibility for people to step in the door, at least, you know, to get in the room. Then once they get in, we can grow and change and develop.
Yeah, then we teach all the principles and the non-negotiables and things like that.
But you can tell when the hand of God is on someone, you know.
Sure.
And, I think that's a beautiful thing about a church is your open heart to everyone. You know, I came in when I was 16. And I had a blonde mohawk, and you told me, "I see you being on this team one day." I said, "All right, amen." You know, and look at me now. You know, you could have looked at me like, look at this kid. This kid looks weird, right? But you said, hey, bring him in. And now God has been moving in our life. So that is a big, big thing that makes our church attractive is diversity.
For sure. You know, I was in San Diego the other day. One of our elders, Pastor Al Valdez, it was his birthday. So we had, we took a road trip out there. We had a great time. But I got to be at a table where there was conversation happening. And I love what one of the brothers said, Pastor Javen Campbell. He's out there, I believe, in Florida, Miami. I think somewhere in Miami, Javen Campbell. And we were just talking and I was listening. And I love what he said. He said, whatever it is that you want your church to become, you have to learn how to talk about it. You have to learn how to cast vision for what you want your church to become.
I like that.
So if you want a church that's with different ethnicities, then you have to talk about it. Maybe you don't have it right now, but you have to preach about it. You have to talk about it. This is the vision for our church. We want to be a multicultural church. And so you have to talk about it. And I think that's so key because, it has to do a lot with the culture. Again, I say this all the time, that our churches could become whatever it is that we want them to become. Yes, through prayer and through the leading and direction of God and the Holy Spirit. Yes, all those things. But also our church can become whatever we want it to become by the culture that we are very intentional in setting. If you're very intentional in setting a culture, if you're very intentional in speaking about what you want your church to look like, I tell you what, you will have some major, major results. And I think all this goes aligned in having a church that is attractive.
Dang, that's good. I think we were watching a sermon, Pastor, or it was an episode we were watching, and someone said the pulpit drives the church.
For sure.
So whatever's being communicated behind the pulpit, the direction goes that way. And you've been preaching that, like, man, we're going to reach the Polynesian culture. We're going to have a Ninth Island ministry, you know, because they call Vegas a Ninth Island.
So, a Ninth Island service.
Yeah. So speak it, the people believe it, because as we speak it, someone's going to catch it. You know, someone's going to catch the burden, someone's going to see it, and someone's going to say, you know what, I'll step up and do it. And that's how God works. He casts out the vision, and someone says, hey, I'm radical enough to believe that will happen. And I can see our church is like, it's like enlarging. I feel that, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Hey, man, thank you for tuning into this episode of Crafted Church Growth. We love you guys. And again, get somebody to subscribe to Church Growth, Crafted Church Growth. Get somebody to subscribe, be a part of our YouTube family. And we look forward to seeing you guys soon. God bless.
See you guys.